The wedding day of myself and Lệ Hằng, the head of a notorious arms trafficking ring, was taking place amidst dazzling lights and applause of blessing when he suddenly received a call. Upon hearing it, his expression changed. He stood up abruptly and thrown on his jacket.
Diêu Vi, Tong Tin is in critical condition. I have to go immediately.
His voice was hurried, his eyes showing no shame or hesitation. The music stopped abruptly, and the whole hall suddenly became silent. All guests stared in shock at us. I looked up, my gaze calm but my words sharp as a knife. Lệ Hằng, I don't care who Tong Tin is, but today is not only our wedding ceremony, but also the day the Lệ family and the Zhang family sign an alliance. Are you planning to abandon everything now for a woman on the outside? He froze, not expecting me to bluntly expose him right there at the altar. Below, the whispering grew louder. Poor bride, discovering she's being cheated on right on her wedding day, heard that Miss Tong is a bar girl and is pregnant with President Li's child. In my previous life, I foolishly used death to keep him, forcing the wedding to continue. But in the end, Tong Tin died during a difficult birth, taking the baby with her. He didn't make it in time to see her one last time, and from then on, he hated me to the bone. After marriage, I was locked in a lightless villa, living like a prisoner. When I gave birth, he laughed coldly and told the doctor to save his subordinate first, while I, his official wife in critical condition from hemorrhage, was left to die. In this life, I must let the whole world know clearly that the Lệ family wronged me first. And Lệ Hằng, you will have to pay the price for your choice. Mr. Lệ, it's bad. Miss Tong is about to give birth. The doctor says it's a difficult birth. Please come and see quickly. A young girl with heavy makeup suddenly barged into the wedding, interrupting the ongoing ritual. She burst into tears, kneeling on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Mr. Lệ, I beg you to save Miss Tong. She is carrying your child. I gripped the wedding bouquet tightly in my hand. In front of me, Lệ Hằng let go of my hand, his face pale.
What did you say? Tong Tin is having a difficult birth?
Without hesitation, he turned his back, intending to leave all the guests behind to exit the wedding hall. In my previous life, it was at this moment that I stepped forward to stop him, forcing him to complete the ceremony. The price I paid was a lifetime of hatred. But this time, I absolutely will not hold him back. I threw off the veil in front of everyone and asked loudly, Lệ Hằng, who is Tong Tin? Why does she say she is pregnant with your child? My voice trembled, my expression of shock mixed with pain making those around me feel pity. Sympathetic looks and gossip began to erupt. Miss Zhang is so pitiful, betrayed before the wedding even ended. The fiancé had an affair, and now the mistress is about to give birth. Today is the day the two families unite, yet the Lệ family behaves like this. Isn't that trampling on the Zhang family's dignity? Lệ Hằng frowned at me, his eyes annoyed.
Diêu Vi, Tong Tin is pregnant with my child. I cannot abandon her. I will explain other matters to you later.
Saying that, he turned to leave. Stop right there. I took a step forward, my voice icy cold. Today is our wedding day, yet you plan to leave in front of so many guests for another woman? Where do you intend to throw the Zhang family's dignity? If you already had someone in your heart, why didn't you say so clearly from the start? Did you have to wait until the wedding day to humiliate me? Don't forget, the daughter of the Zhang family doesn't lack suitors. No one says I must marry you. Lệ Hằng brushed my hand away.
I didn't say I wouldn't marry you, but Tong Tin's life is hanging by a thread. I cannot ignore it.
Tears welled up in my eyes, my voice choked, but every word was steely. But this is a marriage arranged by both clans. Invitations have been sent, contracts signed. If you leave today, it means the alliance between the two families is cancelled. Fine, then you explain it to both parents yourself tomorrow. Having said that, my tears rolled down like broken pearls. In this life, I have learned how to play the victim. I will let everyone clearly see that this fault does not belong to me. It is the Lệ family that wronged me first. Lệ Hang's parents heard the gossip around them, their faces turning an ugly shade of red. Finally, they couldn't hold back anymore and stepped out.
Hang, don't be foolish. Today is your wedding day with Diêu Vi. How can you say you're leaving just like that? Return immediately and complete the ritual.
But that female assistant had prostrated herself on the floor, her voice choked with sobs. Sir, madam, Miss Tong is carrying the eldest grandson of the Le family. Are you truly heartless enough to watch her die? Mr. Lo, Miss Tong accepted having no status for you, got pregnant, and is giving birth for you. Are you really going to stand by and do nothing? Lệ Hằng also chimed in.
Father, mother, that is your own flesh and blood grandson. Could you be so cruel?
Then he turned to me, his tone full of sarcasm.
Anyway, this is a marriage arranged by the two families. It's already a done deal. Why the rush to get married in one day? Or is Miss Zhang so desperate to marry into the Lu family? Aren't you ashamed to say that?
Saying that, he pretended to soften his voice.
Diêu Vi, you have always been understanding. Later, you will be the main wife, and Tong Tin will also be by my side. You two will surely get along, right?
I laughed coldly, every word like a knife. Lệ Hằng, you and I are not married yet. The nuptials are not complete. What right do you have to force me to live with your mistress? I decisively threw the wedding bouquet to the ground and looked straight at him. If you have decided to go save her, I won't stop you. But the alliance between the two clans cannot collapse because of your personal feelings. Breaking the contract, does the Lu family have enough capacity to bear the consequences? Lệ Hang's father's face hardened, gritting his teeth.
Hang, this is a cooperation project worth tens of billions. Are you planning to put the whole clan in danger for a woman?
But Lệ Hằng just laughed indifferently.
Father, didn't I already agree to marry? Does it matter when the wedding is held? Do we have to make such a big deal out of it?
He glanced sideways at me, his eyes full of mockery.
Do you want to interfere, even in when we have to go to bed?
Seeing that Master Lu was finally provoked, I smiled slightly and took a step forward. My eyes calmly looked at Lệ Hang's parents, every word clear and distinct. Uncle, aunt, since it is an intermarriage between two families, the contract does not specify that the person I must marry is Lệ Hằng. If he has long had someone in his heart, I won't compete. The engagement between him and me ends here. Today, the person to be the groom in this wedding, I choose the second young master Lệ Thừa An. The whole hall seemed to explode. Lệ Hằng laughed arrogantly.
What did you say? You want to marry my younger brother? What can he do besides fighting? I am the future heir of the Lu family. Have you thought this through?
I faced him, my voice calm but every word like a slap in the face. So what? You are the heir, but right during the engagement, you had an affair and got someone pregnant. You are not worthy of marriage, nor worthy of being my husband. As for Lệ Thừa An, he doesn't need to show off and isn't at the headquarters, but he has ability, responsibility, and self-respect. That alone makes him 10,000 times better than you. I tilted my head slightly to look at him, smiling faintly. What? Now you want to marry me? I'm afraid Miss Tong is in pain to death. Aren't you in a hurry to save her? The assistant panicked, immediately pulling Lệ Hang's sleeve, her voice trembling. Mr. Lu, we can't delay any longer. Miss Tong is not going to make it. Lệ Hằng looked at me, his eyes full of contempt.
Fine. If you'd rather marry my brother than be my wife, I'll grant your wish. After Tong Tin gives birth, I will marry her properly. Zhang Diêu Vi, don't you regret this?
Saying that, he snatched off his wedding suit jacket, threw it on the ground, and turned to leave the wedding hall right in front of everyone, his face gloomy, his steps furious. I leaned over and whispered to my assistant to contact my parents, telling them to bring the marriage contract with Lệ Hằng immediately. Before long, my parents arrived at the scene. My father looked grimly straight at Master Lu, his voice trembling with anger.
Just great. Does your Lu family consider our Zhang family as something to be insulted at will? At his own wedding, Lệ Hằng dares to cause a scene for a woman on the outside. Don't blame us for turning hostile.
I quickly stepped in front of my father, speaking softly. Dad, I made it clear to Lệ Hằng I will not marry him. After all, this intermarriage is for business cooperation between the two families. The contract never stipulated who I have to marry. Now that Lệ Hằng has someone else and got her pregnant, I absolutely cannot marry him. But the Lu family doesn't just have him, right? There is also Lệ Thừa An. My mother asked softly. Diêu Vi, you don't need to wrong yourself like that. If you want to cancel the engagement, the fault doesn't lie with you. I smiled slightly. Ending the alliance is indeed not simple, but changing the groom is much easier. People in the circle don't need to know if I marry the eldest or the second son of the Le family. They just need to know that the Zhang and Le families have formed an alliance, which is enough to deter the world. Moreover, in my previous life, when I died from a difficult birth because Le Hang forced me to keep up appearances for Tong Tin, it was Lê Thừa An who stood up to expose his hypocritical face at the funeral, calling him heartless and unrighteous, making everyone realize the truth. My father pondered for a moment and then nodded slightly. He looked at Master Lu, asking coldly,
"What do you think, Mr. Lu?"
Master Lu and his wife immediately changed their expressions, nodding hurriedly.
Right, right, this way is very good. It's just too unfair to Diêu Vi. Quickly call Thua in here.
My father cold-facedly raised his hand to cut off the apology.
Of course my daughter has to suffer injustice. Lu Hang has poor morals, publicly breaking the marriage contract. Mr. Lu, if today's story spreads, I'm afraid it will not only damage the reputation of our Zhang family, but the Lu family won't find it easy to swallow either. Having a child with someone else during the engagement, and causing trouble right at the wedding. If the Lu family does not take a clear stance, I'm afraid the elders in the Zhang clan will think that you aristocrats are silently condoning such behavior.
Master Lu was stunned.
So, what do you want?
I smiled and spoke slowly. If Uncle feels I am being disadvantaged, and since I am also avoiding blowing things up for the sake of both families' reputations, and my father hasn't officially sued for breach of contract yet, then the best solution right now is for you to organize a family meeting, announce the revocation of Le Hang's inheritance rights, and transfer the position of heir to the arms industry assets to Lê Thừa An. After all, Le Hang as an heir hasn't achieved anything useful and repeatedly causes trouble damaging their reputation. What about Thuan? Superior ability, outstanding achievements, respected by everyone inside and outside the clan. I looked straight into his eyes. Don't you see clearly that he is the one worthy of leading the Le family? Master Le looked as if he had been doused with cold water in the middle of the crowd. His face turned pale, and after a long time, he slowly nodded.
All right, do as you wish. Tomorrow I will open an official meeting to propose changing the heir.
Just then, a voice rang out from behind.
The second young master has arrived.
No one knew how long Lê Thừa An had been standing there. He stepped out of the crowd, his deep eyes showing no fluctuation. Master Lu patted his shoulder, his voice deep but firm.
From now on, the Lu family is handed over to you. Your brother has chosen his path, so let him live with his so-called freedom. The position of successor no longer belongs to him.
Lê Thừa An looked at me for a long time, his deep eyes without a ripple.
Miss Zhang, I am a practical person, not good at romance, nor do I have time to stroll or drink tea and chat. But I, Lê Thừa An, swear that if you agree to marry me, I will protect you for my whole life. Are you willing?
I laughed, clear and decisive. I do. As the wedding music played, I put the veil back on and exchanged wedding rings with Lê Thừa An, officially becoming husband and wife. Under the glittering lights of the ceremony, I finally let go of the past. This time, I not only escaped Le Hang, but also cut off his path of inheritance with my own hands. I really want to see if he can still be arrogant when he loses everything in my hands for a woman like Tong Tin. The news that Le Hang abandoned his fiancé to chase after his mistress right at the wedding spread throughout the upper class overnight. The next morning, while Lê Thừa An and I were serving tea to the elders, Master Lu sent people to call Le Hang back. Unexpectedly, returning with him was Tong Tin holding a newborn baby. She wore a designer coat and sparkling jewelry, leaning gently into Le Hang's arms as they entered the hall. Tong Tin bowed slightly, her voice coquettish. Hello, Uncle, Aunt. I am Tong Tin. Come on, Tran, call your grandparents. As she spoke, she rocked the child in her arms, her smile unable to hide her smugness. The faces of Master Lu and Madame Lu immediately darkened.
What day is it today that you dare to brazenly bring her here?
Le Hang was not afraid at all. On the contrary, he raised his voice.
Father, mother, Tong Tin almost lost her life giving birth to Tran for me. He is the eldest grandson of our Lu family. Tong Tin and I love each other sincerely. I have decided to marry her as my rightful wife, to stand by my side.
Tong Tin looked at Lệ Hằng with teary eyes, her voice trembling but gentle. Hang, having you in this life is enough, my son, and I ask for nothing. Don't conflict with uncle and aunt because of us. Lệ Hằng hugged her tightly, gently, as if the whole world only contained the two of them.
You gave birth to my child. You are the great meritorious official of the Lu family. I have decided you are my wife.
Saying that, his eyes suddenly caught sight of me entering, wearing a bright red dress full of charisma. His voice softened a bit, even sounding fake apologetic.
I know I caused you injustice yesterday, leaving you alone to face so many guests and not completing the wedding. I didn't expect you to be so understanding and not make a scene. I will definitely make it up to you later. The talk about canceling the marriage yesterday was just spoken in anger. I will treat you well in the future. It's just that Tong Tin gave birth to my child, so I am forced to marry her. As for you, you can still be with me. Tong Tin has a weak personality and isn't good at managing the household, so leave the domestic affairs to you later. You will be in charge of everything. Consider it me giving you face. You and Tong Tin can certainly live together harmoniously under one roof.
I frowned, not expecting him to still be able to say such absurd things. I was about to speak up to retort when a steady voice spoke up for me.
What are you saying to my wife? Diêu Vi, it's time to serve tea.
From behind me, Lệ Thừa An stepped out, gently putting his arm around my shoulder, leading me forward. Lệ Hằng was dumbfounded.
What do you mean your wife? What are you talking about? I am the one marrying Diêu Vi. How did it become you?
Lệ Thừa An chuckled, holding my hand tightly. His gaze was calm but full of pressure.
No, brother, didn't you abandon the wedding to go find Tong Tin? Now the whole circle knows that the person who exchanged rings with her, the person who entered the wedding night with her, is me.
Lệ Hằng screamed.
Impossible. Mom, Dad, how could you let this happen? Isn't this making us a laughingstock for the world?
Master Lệ slammed the table, his face gloomy.
You also know how much face the Lu family lost yesterday? If Thừa An hadn't handled it in time, the face you were worried about would have been trampled clean long ago.
Just then, an announcement voice rang out, interrupting the chaotic argument. Based on the resolution of the family council, Lệ Hằng, due to personal misconduct causing serious damage to the group's reputation, is officially dismissed from the position of heir. The successor position will be taken over by Lệ Thừa An, and Ms. Diêu Vi, the legal wife of the successor, will be appointed as a member of the board of directors. We hope both of you will work together to develop the group and make it stronger. The whole room applauded in agreement. Only Lệ Hằng stood frozen on the spot, his face pale. Only when the secretary walked away did he seem to wake up, collapsing on the floor, almost screaming.
Why? I am the heir. On what grounds am I dismissed?
Then he stared at me with red eyes, his voice full of anger and malice.
You are truly a loose woman. Clearly, we had an engagement, yet just because I went to save Tong Tin, you immediately married someone else.
I laughed, laughing at his ridiculous shamelessness. Lệ Hằng, yesterday's wedding was a family alliance planned a year in advance. You looked down on it, that's up to you, but the Lệ family cannot lose the cooperation contract just because of you alone. If the relationship collapses, can you afford the penalty fee? Or does the Lệ family have to pay, or the whole group has to bleed because of you? You carry the title of having a fiancé but secretly had an affair and got someone pregnant, and now you come back to blame me? If you don't want to live decently, fine, but we are different. We still have a future to protect. I tilted my head, my voice ice cold. You were so majestic when you looked down on the Lệ family. Now that you've lost the inheritance rights, are you starting to regret it? Master Lệ sat down in the presiding seat, his voice calm but majestic.
Hang, you don't have the ability to shoulder the burden, almost causing a great disaster for the whole clan. The proposal to change the successor was my decision. You don't need to say anymore.
Lệ Hằng screamed, so angry his face turned purple.
I am the heir. How can you treat me like this?
Master Lệ looked at him coldly, his voice revealing clear disappointment.
So do you plan to oppose the decision of the entire clan?
Lệ Hằng choked on his words, only able to grit his teeth and stare at me and Lệ Thừa An with eyes that wanted to eat us alive. But no one bothered to care about him anymore. Everyone happily watched me and Thừa An complete the tea-serving ritual. When it was Le Hang's turn, I kept my manners, bringing a cup of tea in front of him. "Big brother, please have some tea." Then I turned to look at Tong Tin, the smile on my lips slightly lifting. And what should I call this person? Calling her sister-in-law isn't legitimate yet, and if I call her a mistress. I tilted my head slightly, my voice decisive. "Sorry, I don't have the habit of serving tea to outsiders." Tong Tin's eyes turned red, pulling Le Hang's sleeve coquettishly. "A hang." Le Hang seemed to wake up, glaring at me and shouting.
She is your sister-in-law. Wait until Tran's full-month ceremony. I will marry her into the family.
I chuckled softly, covering my mouth with my hand. "Oh? Is she really a sister-in-law? Then I apologize, this sister-in-law is really famous. Since yesterday, the whole city knows her. On your big wedding day, surely the Le family will be so crowded people won't be able to squeeze through the door, right?" Le Hang laughed coldly, his eyes bloodshot.
You people think snatching the heir position means you win? Diêu Vi, I will definitely make you regret choosing to marry Thuan. When that time comes, you will realize the only person you should marry is me. When you regret it, it will be too late.
Le Hang growled, then immediately turned to look at Master Loi.
Father, I have chosen a good date. In 1 month, it will be Tran's full month, an auspicious occasion. I want to bring Tong Tin home as my wife.
Madame Le slammed the table hard. "No way. The Le family absolutely cannot bring a nightclub hostess in as a daughter-in-law." "That's right, Tong Tin was originally a hostess pouring wine at a nightclub. In the previous life, Le Hang fell in love at first sight, secretly having a relationship with her. Because of public pressure, he couldn't marry her properly, eventually dumping all the responsibility on me. But in this life, everything is different. I married Le Thuan. I really want to see, without me as a shield, how he plans to bring Tong Tin into the family." Le Hang raised his neck, speaking stubbornly.
Tong Tin gave birth to my child. I cannot let the Lu family's descendant wander outside.
At this moment, Tong Tin hugged the child, kneeled down, and stared at me with tears in her eyes. "Madam, everyone says you are generous. I ask for nothing else, just hope you give me and my son a place to stay. Now that the Le family is managed by you, please have mercy and let us live in peace. I beg you." She didn't beg Madame Lu, nor did she look at Master Lu, but deliberately kneeled in front of me. I clutched my chest, feigning shock, turning to look at my mother-in-law. "Mother, I just stepped into this house for exactly 1 day. How dare I decide such a big matter myself? Please forgive me, I don't dare to act rashly, I will listen to you in everything." I looked down at Tong Tin again, my voice calm but not weak. "Tong Tin, I am just a newlywed daughter-in-law. You don't beg your parents-in-law but come begging me. Aren't you deliberately making things difficult for me? Yesterday was my wedding, and you gave birth on that very day, making the whole wedding chaotic. Today, I haven't even had time to recognize all the elders in the family, yet you kneel before me, forcing me, a bride who just entered the door, to speak up for you to enter the Le family. What grudge do you actually have against me that you keep targeting me? The person you need to beg is the future wife of the first young Master Lu, not me. Between us, at most, we are just sisters-in-law." Madame Lu slammed the table, her voice icy. "A hang, I'm telling you, out of consideration for her bearing your child, I allow you to keep her outside as a mistress. But marrying her as a wife, don't dream. This Le family cannot withstand such humiliation. Furthermore, after you marry, the child must be brought back to the Le family to be raised." Tong Tin's tears poured like rain. "Madam, please have mercy. I only have Tran. How can I let my child leave me?" Le Hang objected.
Mother, who I marry is my right. Can't I even decide my own marriage?
Madame Lu looked straight at him, her eyes cold with utter disappointment. "As long as you still bear the name Lu, then no. If you want to decide for yourself, then you must voluntarily give up your inheritance rights and leave the Le family. Otherwise, as long as you are a member of the Le family, the primary wife absolutely cannot be her." Tong Tin threw herself into Le Hang's arms, sobbing. "Madam, I didn't enter the nightclub because I loved debauchery. It was because my mother was seriously ill that I was forced to work there. When I met a hang, I was still pure." Madame Lu said coldly. No matter what reason you entered the nightclub for, in the eyes of the world, you are still a nightclub hostess. And whether you were pure or not, no one cares. Hang, what are you thinking? Do you think if she becomes your wife later, anyone will invite her to parties? Who wants to sit at the same table with a girl who used to serve wine? Marrying her degrades your own status, meaning the Le family gets kicked out of the upper-class business circle. Is that what you want? You may not care about reputation, but your father and I cannot. If you still insist on marrying her, then from today, voluntarily give up your inheritance rights, leave the Le family, and we will consider that we never gave birth to this son. I smirked slightly. Great, let's see what Lệ Hằng chooses this time. Sure enough, he still lost to the fame and power of the Le family. How could he bear to let go? That night, the person I arranged at Lệ Hang's villa reported that after returning, the two of them immediately had a big fight. Tong Tin had just given birth a day ago, her physical condition weak and her spirit exhausted. She cried bitterly. Hang, you promised to marry me, promised to let me be Mrs. Lệ. But what about now? Your mother says I can only be a mistress, so is our son an illegitimate child? Lệ Hằng softened his voice to comfort her.
Don't cry, I won't mistreat you. It's just a title, just a formality. No matter who my mother arranges for me to marry, she will just be a figurehead. No one can replace you. You are the one I love the most.
Tong Tin's eyes were red, her voice choked. Really? Swear it, that all your life you won't touch another woman, and will only love me. Lệ Hằng chuckled, gently hugging her.
You are the mother of my child. How could I bear to let you cry?
Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Great acting, Lệ Hằng, keep your love and vows, while the title of heir you regret letting go of, I have long held firmly in my hand. My husband glanced at me and spoke mockingly.
They are in a mess, yet you look very happy?
I snorted coldly. Of course I'm happy. They want me to lose face, want me to grit my teeth and suffer without being able to speak up? Dream on. Wait until the bride's home visit ceremony. I will ask my mother to take action. Definitely have to find your brother a suitable wife. The Lệ family scandal was well known to everyone in the circle. None of the wealthy families in the city dared to marry their daughters into the Lệ family. Who would want their child to encounter a favored mistress and an illegitimate child as soon as they entered their husband's house? But just because people in the city didn't want to, didn't mean the upper class from other places would refuse. Just then, Chairman Tiu of Tiu Corporation returned to the capital to report on work, bringing his wife and only daughter, Tiu Yen. His daughter had a frank and strong personality, and her martial arts skills were not ordinary. Mr. Tiu always kept his daughter by his side and hadn't married her off yet because he wanted to find a firm foothold in the capital. My mother's close friend, the Madam of Nin Kwok Group, organized an afternoon tea, inviting both the Tiu mother and daughter and the Lệ family to attend. I deliberately sat next to Tiu Yen, holding her hand and laughing intimately. Little sister is truly so beautiful. I felt incredibly familiar as soon as I met you, as if we knew each other in a past life. Perhaps this is fate. Then I led her to my mother-in-law. Mother, look at Miss Tiu. Doesn't she look very much like a biological sister to me? If we really become one family later, what could be more wonderful? My mother-in-law smiled broadly as soon as she saw Tiu Yen, extremely satisfied. She chatted with Mrs. Tiu as happily as if it were a festival, and by the end of the afternoon tea, they were as close as sisters. The two ladies immediately agreed. One saw her daughter as having a strong personality, not easily bullied, very suitable to be a daughter-in-law of a powerful family. The other aimed at the wealthy background of the Lệ family. Marrying in means immediately becoming the official primary wife, sitting in the eldest daughter-in-law's seat. The two families quickly completed the proposal and engagement rituals. All steps were pushed extremely urgently, and the wedding date was set for just 2 months away. Soon, it was time for Tran's full-month party. Lệ Hằng stubbornly demanded to combine the full-month party with his wedding to Tong Tin. Tong Tin had just finished her confinement month, immediately dragging a few maids out shopping to prepare for the party. At a high-end evening gown shop, she accidentally bumped into Tiu Yen. Tong Tin was sitting in the VIP room enjoying tea, while her assistant arrogantly ordered the staff around. Our madam wants the most high-end red ceremonial dress. Bring out all the most beautiful models. Price is not an issue." Seeing a VIP guest, the staff hurriedly ran to get the items. At the same time, I was accompanying Tu Yen to choose a wedding dress. She came from another place, so she hadn't prepared anything and had to buy urgently. Just as she chose a model she liked, the staff ran over to say that model had just been chosen by another VIP guest. Tu Yen, originally hot-tempered, slammed the table. "Who dares to compete for items with me?" Inside the VIP room, Tong Tin snorted coldly. "I am the young madam of the Le family. What are you to dare compete for items with me?" Tu Yen, with a poker face, pulled aside the curtain and walked straight into the room. "Young madam of the Le family? Le Hang's wife? If I recall correctly, he just got engaged. I heard he has a wife." Tong Tin looked up, her voice full of arrogance. "Engaged, huh? My husband said that whoever he marries is just a formality. The person he loves forever is only me. If you like being the young madam, go ahead, it means nothing to me. My husband said in this life he only loves me. So what if you are a wealthy heiress? I am the one who gave birth to the eldest grandson for the Le family. And who are you? Who my husband marries has nothing to do with you." Having said that, Tong Tin held the dress and pointed at the sales staff. "I'll take this one, put it on the Le family's tab." Tu Yen immediately blocked her hand. "This is the dress I chose first. You are a mistress and dare to wear a red dress? Does the Le family have rules like this? Le Hang dares to let a mistress overshadow the main wife. Isn't he afraid the whole circle will laugh in his face? If he really lets a mistress wear a red dress into the house, then where does the Le family plan to put our Tu family?" Tong Tin looked up, her face arrogant. "The Tu family is nothing but a business from elsewhere. Marrying a daughter into the Le family is already a blessing. What more do you demand? My husband said I have the right to wear whatever I like." I stepped out at this moment, my voice ringing out coldly. "Tong Tin, don't be excessive. You are just a mistress. How can you wear red? Miss Tu Yen here is the daughter of Chairman Tu, a genuine heiress, and will be my sister after entering the family. You are just someone kept on the outside. Don't climb too high." Tong Tin panicked, immediately stood up and changed her expression. "Miss Tu, I apologize. I just wanted to buy a wedding dress. You are a prestigious heiress. I know my humble background cannot compare. But I really just wanted to wear a red dress once, to be a bride properly like a normal person." Right amidst the chaos, Le Hang entered the shop. Seeing Tong Tin with red eyes and an aggrieved look, he quickly stepped over to ask,
"What's going on?"
Tong Tin immediately threw herself into his arms, choking back sobs. "Hang, I just wanted to wear a red wedding dress, to be your wife properly. Is even that not allowed? I know later I will just be a mistress, but I didn't go to the nightclub voluntarily. When I was with you I was still pure. I just want to wear a red dress once to be your bride. Is that wrong too?" Le Hang heartbrokenly hugged her, soothing her with a gentle voice.
"Who said no? As long as you like it, I say it's allowed. We'll take the most beautiful, most expensive one."
I stood by the side, pretending to advise. Miss Tu had her eye on this dress first, intending to buy it for the wedding. Miss Tong is just a mistress. How can she cross the line? Only then did Le Hang see me and Tu Yen. He was briefly startled, then frowned.
"It's just a dress. What's with the fierce competition? Miss Tu, no matter what color dress she wears, she is still a mistress. It doesn't affect your status. Why be so petty?"
Slap. Tu Yen swung her hand and slapped Le Hang straight in the face, so fast that no one had time to react. "The kind of man you are is truly disgusting. Having an illegitimate child before marriage, and letting a mistress fight with the main wife. Now you dare to let a mistress wear a red dress into the house in front of me? Do you think our Tu family is dead? No need to organize this wedding anymore." After speaking, she turned and left decisively, without any reluctance. The story of Tong Tin and Tu Yen causing a scene in a high-end shop over a wedding dress quickly spread everywhere. Tu Yen went home crying and making a fuss, insisting on canceling the engagement. Hearing the news, my mother-in-law was so angry she almost fainted. Just as Tong Tin and Le Hang arrived at the door, she shouted loudly as soon as she saw her face. "You wretch, kneel down. Just a mistress, and you dare dream of wearing a wedding dress, and even dare to fight for a dress with the future wife of the Lu family? Who gave you the gall? Tong Tin trembled as she knelt in the middle of the courtyard, not daring to say a word. I quickly stepped out, pretending to intervene. Mother, after all, she just gave birth to the eldest grandson for the Lu family. Please don't be too angry. Unexpectedly, my mother-in-law got angrier the more she heard, slamming the table and shouting. What eldest grandson? It's an illegitimate child, a disaster. It's precisely because of this titleless child that people look down on our Lu family. Tong Tin, you think giving birth to a son makes you important? Let me tell you, the Lu family does not lack descendants. You think giving birth means you can climb on top of others? Dream on. Someone, drag her out and give her a taste of family law. Let's see if she still dares to talk back. I quickly stepped up to advise, softening my voice. Mother, Yen lost her cool because she was too angry. But her temper is also quick, coming fast and going fast. Why not let Tong Tin go to the Tu family to apologize herself? Maybe Miss Tu will calm down and the marriage can still be saved. Tong Tin immediately screamed. I won't go. Don't expect me to bow down and apologize to her. Madame Lu is truly cruel, just wanting to see me lose face. She can't even tolerate her husband's mistress, so how is she worthy of being a main wife? Such a jealous woman will be divorced sooner or later. I stood by the side seeing her speak more and more excessively, deliberately acting aggrieved, so I slowly spoke up. Mother, Miss Tu and I genuinely get along. I just wanted to advise Tong Tin to take the initiative to apologize. Unexpectedly, she misunderstood me like that. Perhaps I was being nosy. My mother-in-law held my hand, gently patting it to comfort me. I know you are understanding. Don't lower yourself to bicker with a lowly person like her. Then she turned to Tong Tin, her voice ice cold. You don't have to apologize. You don't have a title anyway. Move out of the Lu house tomorrow. This house doesn't keep your kind. In the end, Tong Tin still had to go to the Tu family to kneel and apologize. She knelt all day at the gate until Tu Yen agreed to come out to meet her, her face pale from the cold. Tu Yen stood in front of her, sneering. Tong Tin, who do you think you are? Let me tell you, the tricks of nightclub girls like you aren't worth a penny in the wealthy circle. Your background has destined you to be nothing for your whole life, and you still want to fight me? She tilted her head slightly, smiling mockingly. Oh right, I sent a message to the Lu family that after I enter the family, I will personally raise your son. After all, I will be his legal mother. Rest assured, I will teach him well so he clearly calls me mother. Tong Tin was so angry her eyes turned red. You dare? He is my son. Tu Yen laughed. Educating the family's descendants is a matter of course. You come from a nightclub. If we let you teach the child, where would the Lu family's face be? Besides, my future mother-in-law has agreed. In a few days when I enter the door, that child will be mine. Later when I have children, your son will have to serve my children like an ox or a horse, and what can you do to me? Tong Tin's face drained of blood, and she dejectedly returned to the Lu family. That night, she clung to Lệ Hằng, crying and complaining. Tu Yen is a cruel woman. You absolutely must not let her steal my child. Lệ Hằng laughed lightly.
She's just talking nonsense. Tran is the eldest grandson of the Lu family. Dare she touch him? Even if the boy is an illegitimate child, he is my son. I won't mistreat him.
He just kept calling his son an illegitimate child, an out-of-wedlock child. Every word was like a blade cutting into Tong Tin's heart. I watched Tong Tin become anxious and worried, holding Tran and sitting dazedly in the back garden every day, her mind no longer clear. Lệ Hằng was busy preparing for the wedding with Tu Yen, ignoring the mother and child for several days. I laughed softly. In the previous life, he was so deeply in love for her sake, eventually driving me to a dead end. But in this life, everything has changed. Lệ Hằng lost his inheritance rights because of Tong Tin. Now he tries even harder to rely on his wife's family to cling to some status. As for my husband, Lệ Thừa An, he recently successfully completed a key project, highly rated by the board of directors. My father said the group chairman publicly praised Thừa An as a talent several times. Taking over the group later will surely bring the Le family to a new height. Because of that, my parents-in-law are increasingly satisfied with my husband and me, while looking at Lệ Hằng and Thong Tin only with weariness. My mother-in-law even personally handed me the heirloom jewelry set originally intended for the eldest daughter-in-law. The Le family will rely on you two in the future. This heirloom jewelry set must of course be given to you and your husband. When Lệ Hằng found out, he was red-eyed with anger. Looking at Thong Tin crying and complaining all day, he regretted choosing her even more. He lost his inheritance because of her, missed the chance to marry a wealthy heiress. One wrong step ruined his whole life. On the day of Lệ Hằng and Thieu Yen's wedding, just as they were about to drink the nuptial wine, a servant rushed over to report. "Young master, Miss Thong says Master Tran has a fever and won't stop crying. Do you want to go over and take a look?" Thieu Yen immediately threw the wine glass straight to the ground, her voice cold. "Is he a doctor? Tell Miss Thong to stop using such low tricks to compete for favor. If the child is sick, call a doctor. What's the use of calling my husband?" Hearing that Lệ Hằng wasn't coming, Thong Tin went mad with anger. She stripped all of Tran Tran's clothes off and left the child lying in the draft, whispering like a crazy person. "Tran Tran, your father is cruel. He doesn't care to look at us. Only when you are seriously ill will he agree to come back." At midnight, Tran Tran started having a high fever and convulsions. Thong Tin held the child and ran to Lệ Hang's courtyard door, banging on it and crying, but was gagged and dragged straight out by Thieu Yen's assistant. "Today is my young mistress's wedding night. You, a mistress, have the nerve to come and ruin it? Someone, slap her for me." Thong Tin was slapped until her face was swollen, staggering back to hold her child and cry all night. By the time the servant reported it and my mother-in-law personally led the doctor over, they found Tran Tran's fever was so high he was convulsing, his face turning purple. Thong Tin was still sitting dazedly in the room, crying and muttering. "Your father is so cruel. Tran Tran is really sick." My mother-in-law gave her a slap. "For a man, you dare to harm even your own biological child. You are truly a cruel woman." The doctor checked the pulse and hurriedly prescribed medicine.
The boy has too high a fever and is too young. It's uncertain if he can take this medicine. If the fever doesn't go down by morning, I'm afraid.
Thong Tin collapsed on the ground, crying silently. "Tran Tran, what's wrong? Mommy didn't mean it." Early in the morning, Lệ Hằng and Thieu Yen woke up hearing cries outside. The servant ran in to report. "Young master, the little young master passed away last night." Lệ Hằng immediately rushed over, only to see Thong Tin holding tight to Tran Tran's cold body, her mouth constantly repeating, "Mommy didn't mean it. I just wanted you to be your father's son." She had gone mad. After Tran Tran was buried, Thong Tin disappeared without a trace. From then on, no one in the Le family mentioned the name Thong Tin again. As for Lệ Hằng, after marrying Thieu Yen, she never got pregnant. Going to the doctor, they discovered the problem lay with Lệ Hằng. He was infertile. Lệ Hằng screamed.
"How is that possible? How can I be infertile? Thong Tin already gave birth to my child."
Servants found a bag of powder in Thong Tin's room. It was a sterilization drug. I think perhaps after Tran Tran died, in her last moment of sanity, Thong Tin gave him that drug. Thieu Yen didn't say another word. Using the excuse that he couldn't have children, she insisted on divorce. Lệ Hằng sat silently alone in the small courtyard, muttering in despair.
Why did it end up like this? Clearly, I was the heir with a bright future waiting. How did it come to this?
He went mad. To hide the family scandal, the Le family sent him to a nursing home in the suburbs for 2 old servants to look after for the rest of his life. As for me and my husband, we successfully took over the Le group. I stroked my belly. The child in here will be the heir to everything of the Le family in the future.